Today I'm cooking the garlic scallion pasta. This pasta is one of my favorite dishes of all times because of the taste, also the simplicity and the versatility of this dish. This dish is the multi-tool of all dishes. You can put scallions, you can put parsley, you can put whatever you want. Basically, this is my little Asian fusion that I made, Italian and Asian fusion with garlic and scallions, because I have a confession. I'm a scallion fanatic, okay? I'm addicted to scallions. I put scallions on pretty much everything. Being that I put scallions on everything, it was just only natural for me to throw it in this pasta. Of course, the things you're gonna need for this dish is a strainer. That's one, very important. You're gonna need a ladle, a cup of something to scoop up the pasta water. The pasta water is what makes the sauce adhere to the pasta and gives it that really good taste. So of course you're gonna need scallions. That's like number one off the rip, all right? 2 cloves of garlic, 2 or 3, how garlicky you want it to taste. And for me, my rule of thumb to measure the pasta is if it fits in my index finger and my thumb and it has a circumference of about 4 pencils, 4 number 2 pencils, then I'm good to go. My water's already boiling, so we're gonna go ahead and drop this in. And the key thing what you want to do when you drop the noodles in the boiling water is you want to stir it around almost immediately. Give it a nice little stir around so it doesn't get stiff. Always, always, always make sure your water is heavily salted. You're going to take your scallions and you're going to take a knife. I like a Chinese chef knife, and I'm going to show you why in a few seconds. And you're going to chop the scallions up. You don't want to chop them up too fine. Just get them enough, because some of these we're gonna use to make the sauce, the base for the oil. There actually is no sauce, okay? I told you, I'm a scallion addict. I'm a scallion addict, okay? You're gonna dump a lot of these scallions in early on while the oil is hot to create a base. You want that oil to create a base. You're gonna chop the rest of these scallions up. I just love the smell of scallions. I think they smell really good and fresh and earthy, and they just go good on everything. Everything. You ought to try it. If you think it doesn't go well with scallions, try it anyway. I guarantee you, it may taste good. Scallions just have a way of making everything better. Almost like a hug or a smile. Makes everything better. So we're gonna make sure we got, let me taste on these things. Scallions are so good. I'm gonna tell you, when I'm cooking steak, I have to have my scallions cut and pushed over to the side, because the problem is I start nibbling. I'll take a piece of steak and throw a scallion on it, eat it, and keep eating, and next thing you know, half of my steak is gone. Key thing with the garlic, you want to chop it fine. You don't want to mince it, because when you mince it, you're definitely going to burn the garlic. You want this garlic to be able to tolerate the heat and sit in there and create that garlic and scallion base for the oil. It's gonna be extremely good. Back to what I was saying, I'm gonna show you why I like the Chinese chef knife, because when I wanna throw my ingredients in the pot, I just scoop everything up and everything sits right there on the blade. Works well for me. Key thing with that water, you wanna make sure the noodles are al dente before you pull them out, before you go pulling them out too soon. And al dente means it has just a little slight chew to it, okay? So make sure you do that. That's very important. Generally, I let them cook for about 7 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes. But a thicker noodle like that, a spaghetti noodle, you might want to let it sit for about 10, depending on how high you're boiling your water. So all this process of creating the oil base, the garlic and the scallion oil base for this pasta, it takes generally about the time to cook the pasta. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off, we're gonna throw some oil, olive oil to be exact. You're gonna throw about 3 good glugs of olive oil in the pan, because you want it to have that oily taste. You want that pasta to have a nice sheen. That's where the pasta water comes in. To tell whether the pan is hot or not, or the oil is hot enough, I generally will take a flake of garlic, probably the smallest one, and I'll throw it in just to see. And if it starts dancing around, then we're good to go. We're ready to get to business. I already hear it crackling, and that's the sound you wanna hear. You wanna hear a little slight crackling going on? That's what you want. You don't want this oil to be too hot, because if it's too hot, then you're gonna burn the garlic. And bitter garlic, that's a travesty, all right? This garlic is in there dancing around. I'm gonna take half half of the scallions that I chopped, and I'm gonna scoop it up, and then I'm gonna dump it in here because I wanted to create that base. Let me dig this one out because I have a policy of no scallion left behind, all right? No scallion should ever be left behind. So we're gonna let this cook for a little bit, and what I like to do is I like to start it off on medium to kind of break down everything, and then I'll drop it down to a medium low to where I can actually start sweating the garlic and the onions to create that sauce. If you want a really rich scallion and garlic taste, you're gonna wanna leave it in for about a good 10 to 15 minutes on low heat, or you'll get that bitter garlic like what I was telling you about. So basically, this is not a dish you can walk away from. You have to watch the garlic. You have to supervise the garlic, okay? So while you're supervising the garlic, make sure that it doesn't get dark brown. You want it to get just a little toasty. That's when you lower the heat completely and start dropping that pasta in there. I suggest you drain the pasta first. Don't just pull it straight out of the pan, drop it in. You're gonna have just water everywhere, all over your stove and your dish, everything. So you're gonna stir these around just a little bit, kind of get a good mix up. Then you're gonna let it sit. Just let it sit, let it cook. Don't muck around with it. Muck around means shuffling all over the place. And just be patient. And I'm gonna throw a little bit of these big scallions in here. Let those cook down. And so we're gonna save the rest of the scallions for the garnish. The cool thing about this dish is for you gym lovers. If you want a nice amount of carbs without just this fattening sauce all over it, that's it. This is the dish for you, okay? Really simple to make. You get back from the gym and you don't feel like cooking something major, or before you go to the gym, you don't feel like eating something heavy. This is the dish. This is the dish for you. It's gonna give you a load of carbs to go in there and build your muscle, along with protein. So hopefully you ate some protein or took a protein shake, because carbs don't build muscle. But that's a completely different video in and of itself, one that I'm not gonna get into. But if you want the energy, you want those good sugars to get in your body, this is it. This is like something that I eat 7 days a week. It's pretty much a main staple of my diet. I love this pasta. I really do. Like, it never gets old. It's like a good sitcom, all right? Never gets old. The aromatics from the scallion and the garlic, it smells amazing. It's like good. And this pasta is almost al dente. I'm gonna cook for maybe like 2 more minutes. We're ready to go. We're ready to get this thing on the way. So, don't forget this. Pasta water is essential. It's essential to adhering that oil and all those good flavors to your pasta, because the pasta water has starch. We have our pasta filter strainer, and now we're about to make this killer dish. So you want to stir the garlic and the scallions around just a little bit more, and you're gonna drop the pasta in. Take it, shake it around just a little bit, dump it in, and just start turning. That's all you have to do. Now we're gonna drop just a little bit of pasta water to make this adhere. Turn the heat up to a medium, and just start stirring around. It's very important to mix everything together and have everything thoroughly mixed. I can actually smell the garlic. Go ahead and turn it off. It's cooked long enough. And before you plate this thing, this immaculate get together of flavors, you're gonna wanna salt it to taste. Although we had heavily salted water, it's still kind of dissipated. So you wanna salt it to taste, a decent little pinch, because you know that pasta is gonna suck up most of the salt. You want to give it a nice, good turnaround. Make sure you blend that salt in there, okay? Blend it in real good. Nothing worse than like putting a nice spoonful of pasta in your mouth and it just tastes like seawater. That's that's disgusting. All right, now it's time to plate this thing. Once again, you have to adhere to the rule of no scallion left behind. Don't leave a scallion in the pan. Don't do it to yourself. You're only robbing yourself of like really good flavors. I'm gonna plate it. Oh man, that looks good on the plate. That looks very good. And now, the best part of the day, next to eating this dish, You're gonna garnish it with a few scallions, raw scallions. Preferably the green part, not the white part. So now, once I put this in my mouth, the conversation may be over because then I start talking with my mouth full and possibly cursing a little bit. So if you hear all that, don't pay any attention. That's just my involuntary reaction to how good this pasta is because I just absolutely love it. Let's see what we got. I don't want to get it. I don't want to burn my mouth. Oh man. Oh man, listen. I can taste the light hint of garlic, the scallions, the oil, the texture of the pasta. This is why you use spaghetti noodles. The texture of this pasta it just gives it a flavor and a texture that's amazing. So it's almost like a party of an Asian party, an Italian party going on in your mouth. It's the perfect fusion. God. Seriously. Look, conversation's over. Till we do this again, enjoy cooking.